Am I going to quit Poshmark? Am I going to shut down my Poshmark closet? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why.
Won't nobody love you the way they should. Won't nobody check up on you, make sure you're good. Won't nobody check those body tremors for your neck.
Just a heads up that at the time of filming, there was something wrong with one of my eyes. So if it looks really red, I know. It actually hurts a lot right now, so I don't really know what's going on with it. Hi everyone, my name is Becky Park. I sell on a ton of different platforms, including Poshmark, which is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. If you've been living under a rock, Poshmark sellers have been pretty upset in the last few months. I mean, Poshmark sellers are honestly always upset, I feel like, but especially so in the last few months because Poshmark has been making some changes and haven't been super forthcoming about what they are and what sellers need to adjust or change in order to continue finding the same kind of success that they were finding in the past. Now, let's do some housekeeping first. Poshmark has no idea that I'm making this video. It's not like they reached out to me and were like begging me to make a video that defends them and, you know, keep sellers on the platform. I don't know if they even know who I am. Like, yes, I've spoken at PoshFest, but like, we're not buddy-buddy. I don't have Manisha's phone number in my cell phone or anything like that. Like, I'm not high up on their list of people that they know or care about, okay? Secondly, some of you might be watching this and going, what are you talking about? Poshmark sales have never been better. And if so, awesome. You probably can click off now. Like, I don't know that the rest of this is going to super apply to you. And lastly, I would say, everything that I'm going to say, take with a grain of salt. I am in no way saying that everything I share with you today is what you should be doing. The decisions that I make are the decisions that you should make. You have your own reselling business and you have your own level of tolerance with different things. And if you're watching and you're like, well, I disagree with everything and I don't think I can keep selling on Poshmark at all, then don't. Like, that's totally fine. But those are just some of the housekeeping things. So let's jump right into it. Why am I going to stay on Poshmark even though they've been making all these changes? I'm going to stay on Poshmark because I never got on Poshmark for the sake of the social aspect of it. I never got on Poshmark because I felt like, you know, Poshmark was trying to take care of me as a seller and really cared about me. You know, the only reason I was on Poshmark was because I was making money on Poshmark. That was it. The other stuff I didn't care about. I did the things that I needed to do in order to be successful. I shared my closet. I shared other people's listings when I thought that that was a thing. You know, I did all these different things, but I didn't do it because I loved the social aspect of it or because I loved the different promotions that Poshmark had or anything like that. I was just on Poshmark because it was easy and I was making money on Poshmark. And even now, I am still making money on Poshmark, so it doesn't make sense to me to get rid of something that is making me money. Is it making me as much money as it did this time last year? No, it's not. Although the last few days have actually been really good. But in general, 2022 has been really stinky. It's been really, really rough. But sales are still coming in. And for me, when I list into list perfectly first, and then I push out all of my listings to all like 6 to 8 platforms that I sell on. Poshmark is the easiest platform to list to. It literally takes me like 15 seconds once that listing is already in list perfectly to get it onto Poshmark. So why wouldn't I just keep throwing stuff onto Poshmark? It doesn't take up a lot of my time, and Poshmark is still to this day my #1 performing reselling platform. So again, it does not make sense to me to get rid of Poshmark, even though I don't love the fact that they were not super transparent about the changes that they were making, even though I don't love the fact that I'm making less sales than I used to. I'm not going to take any of that personally because they're a business. I'm a business. I can take it as personally as I want. I can create snarky Instagram posts as often as I want. I can email them. I can call them. I can, X, Y, and Z. I can do all those things. They are, at the end of the day, going to do what is best for their bottom line. And I, as a reselling business, am also going to do the same thing. I'm going to do what's best for my bottom line. And right now, what's best for my bottom line is to continue selling on Poshmark. I also have been on Poshmark for what is it? Like almost 5 years at this point. And I've built up my closet. I've built up, my number of followers. I've built up a number of repeat buyers. That's a lot to give up in the name of like sticking it to the man when I don't think they're going to feel the stick. Like I could poke and stick all I want. Like me shutting down my closet is not going to make the kind of statement that I would hope it would. It's just not going to be worth it. And the only person that's going to get hurt at the end is me and my sales and my numbers. So again, being a business, I am looking at my bottom line, and it makes sense to stay with Poshmark. Now, that being said, here's also what I'm not going to do. I am not going to change how I run my Poshmark business. I know there are a lot of people out there making videos and Instagram posts about like what you need to do in this new Poshmark algorithm in order for people to see your listings. And while there may be some truth to those things, people are saying things like you got to really dumb down your listings, like try putting the words that show up in Poshmark's trend alerts in your listings. There's a lot of things that people are saying, and there may be some truth to those things, but I'm not going to take the time to go back to all of my existing listings and make those changes. And I'm also not going to take the time when I'm pushing my listings out from List Perfectly to, all my different platforms to change the listing title just on Poshmark for the sake of this new algorithm change that may or may not be real. It doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, even with keeping my listing titles the same as they've been in the past, I'm still making sales. The last few days I've been making pretty great sales. But the biggest reason why I'm not going to make any changes is because Poshmark clearly has no idea what they're doing yet. They are still trying to find their footing. They're still trying to figure out who they are. They're still figuring things out. And so I don't want to try to keep up and make all these changes based on each of their whims and each of their changes, only for myself to have to make those changes again and again as they figure out what kind of reselling platform they want to be. At some point, if, like in the past, they sit down with the community and they say, here is how you should list. This is what your listing titles should look like. This is what your pictures should look like. If they start coming out with that kind of training, like formal training in, PoshFest sessions, on their blog, in their notifications, if they start coming out with that kind of information, then I will make the adjustments that they're telling me to make, because if they get to that point where they themselves are sharing, this is how you can be successful on our platform, then I know that at least for a longer stretch of time than now, I know that that change is here to stay for quite some time until they want to revisit it, until they want to tinker with it again. But until they come out and actually say to sellers, this is how you should do things, I'm not going to make any changes. And, I'm not here to make a video about the different conspiracy theories that are out there. I'm not here to tell you in my brain, like, what I think Poshmark is doing, because none of that matters, right? But what I will say is this. I had someone on Instagram reach out to me and let me know that she was in the process of doing a few Zoom sessions with a person at Poshmark headquarters. It seems like if you're very persistent with them and you reach out to them and say, I'd really love to actually speak with someone and get some insight as to how I can find a little bit more success on this platform. It seems like with some people, they're willing to set up Zoom calls with them and whatnot, and you can chat with an actual human being, which is kind of cool. That's never really been a thing before. And so that's what this girl did. She's been talking to Poshmark and just picking their brain about what's going on? How can we as resellers find success? And she was kind of sharing with me the things that she had heard, which again, I'm not going to share with you because that's coming from one person. And if there's one thing that I know about Poshmark, it's that they're not always on the same page. Everyone who works for Poshmark is not going to give you the same answer because they're all at different levels of knowing different things and whatever. So I'm not going to share that information with you because I don't even know if it's worth anything and I don't want to confuse you anymore, right? But one thing I asked her was, did you get the sense that they were going to come out publicly and share with the community what we need to do in order to be successful on their platform? And she said, no, they're not going to do that at this time. And what I took away from that is because they still don't know. They're still changing things. They're still tinkering with things. And as long as they're doing that, as long as they're at that stage of developing their app, I'm not going to make any changes either. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy just for me to make all these adjustments and then to have to adjust again. So I'm going to wait for their word as to, hey, we've got some training for you guys, because I just spit, sorry if you saw that. But I'm waiting for them to let us know that they've got things figured out. This is what they're looking for moving forward. And at that point, I will do what they say. And if I hate it, then, maybe I'll quit at that point. But at this point, those are the reasons why I'm sticking with Poshmark, but why I'm not going to make any changes. I've said this in my last few videos. It just feels very much like Poshmark is going through an identity crisis. And I think one of the biggest things that they're trying to figure out is, who are they for? Are they for the casual seller who, looks at her closet, maybe she just lost a ton of weight and is like, I don't even fit into any of this clothes anymore and I just want to get some money for it, and she just goes on a listing spree and then never visits Poshmark again? Is it for someone like that? Or is it for those who run legitimate reselling businesses? And I think what they're finding is it's really hard to cater to both. And so they are having to choose which path to go down. That's why even when I first started reselling, although I loved Poshmark so much, I loved the ease of it, I loved how simple it was, but I very quickly started looking at other reselling platforms as well. I think my next one after Poshmark was Mercari, and then I think it was eBay, and then, I went to a few others. But when I think about eBay, I know some of you hate it, some of you love it. But one thing I have to say about eBay is that they know who they are. You can, if you want, sell there casually, but eBay really is set up for the serious reseller, for those running a reselling business. And you know that because they have training to help people be as successful as possible. You know that because they have so many tools within their platform, research tools, like ways that you can see comps. They have tools for stores to run like discounts and sales and send out coupons. They have things like branded tape and bags and, all the different things that you need to run yourself as a legitimate business, because that's what they want on their platform. Is they want these high volume sellers who are going to make serious money there and be consistent with it. Like, stick with the app for the long run versus just listing a ton of stuff once and then never coming back to the app. I think that's part of the reason why it is so difficult to list there in the first place, is because they're trying to weed out the people who are not, going to take this seriously and who are like, this is too hard. They're like, that's fine. We don't need you because you're clearly not taking this very seriously. I fully expect my eBay sales to start outperforming Poshmark here in the near future. And it already happens from time to time. There are already weeks where eBay does better than Poshmark for me. But I think that as I kind of shift my focus from like, what does Poshmark want, and creating my listings in that way, I think I'm really going to shift my focus to kind of more eBay centric, so that when I create my listings and list perfectly, I'm really creating them with eBay in mind, so that more things will sell on eBay. And if I get an occasional sale here and there on Poshmark, awesome. But I'm kind of thinking that Poshmark is pretty soon no longer going to be my number one platform. And I'm okay with it because I can't drive myself crazy trying to figure out Poshmark when Poshmark doesn't know Poshmark yet. Like, they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know who they want to be, and they don't know who they want to serve. So I'm not going to drive myself crazy trying to figure out how to find success over there. Those are my thoughts on the topic. I usually am so organized with these kinds of videos, and I have notes and, all that kind of stuff. I just kind of went off of whatever I was thinking at the moment. So I'm sorry if, it was a little bit all over the place, but I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What are you planning on doing when it comes to Poshmark? Are you going to shut down your closet? Are you going to keep at it? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. You have to do what's best for you. And I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you that one thing is right and one thing is wrong. I'm just here to kind of share my thoughts, and hopefully it helps you out as you're trying to figure things out on your own as well. The last thing that I'll say is this. I know that there are some of you who this is a terrifying time, because your entire livelihood is the income that you earn on Poshmark, and you have built up this great business over there, and you are able to sustain yourself, maybe even a family, with that income. So especially for you, I can understand how this is an extremely trying time. And I don't have the magic words to tell you. I don't have the magic tips and tools and tricks as to what you can do on Poshmark to start making more sales, because the truth is I don't know that there are any. What I can say is I would, if I were you, continue knocking on the door of Poshmark until you bust that door open. Ask them your questions. Be relentless about letting them know what you need as a seller. But also, be ready and start bracing yourself for the fact that they really may make a very hard pivot here where as little as they, kind of cared about big sellers in the first place, they may care about us even less in the future, because if they decide that their bottom line is not fed by the big sellers and instead there's another audience to chase that's going to make them more money, that's what they're going to do, because they're a business and they're looking out for their bottom line. And so I suggest that you do the same by either expanding to other platforms or, like I said, just keep knocking at their door, keep letting them know what you need and do what it takes to be heard. But I want you to know I feel for you. I wish there was something I could do to make it all better, but unfortunately there isn't. So I'm so sorry, and for your sake, I really do hope that Poshmark figures things out soon. So on that kind of downer note, I'm so sorry, but I am gonna sign off. So thank you for watching and letting me just kind of spew my random thoughts on the topic. I don't know if any of you were even curious, but as of right now, I am sticking with Poshmark. Not because I love it, not because I feel some sense of loyalty to the platform or I feel like I owe it anything, simply because I'm still making money over there. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.